Well, I click the button. Sometimes it takes a second, sometimes 10, sometimes, and we're live. So look at that. Keith, take it away.
Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
From The Tonight Show, Comedy Central, Netflix, Kenice Mobley. Hello, Kenice.
Hello. Sorry, I'm late.
Kenice, we didn't even notice. But how, honestly, when a guest is having troubles with their equipment, as if they didn't have their own podcast in the past, or they're running late and sweating, how good is Chemda at calming people down? Am I right or
Very
wrong?
good. Very good. Your easygoing manner and the way that you were talking, like, I'm not upset. I wonder if that's how you would talk to a child, but it's great. It's great.
We're all children, so sure.
That's good inner
Whatever.
child work.
You
That's
know,
work.
Well, Chemda studies this stuff. She reads all the books. She knows everything isn't the end of the world. She has, of course, her OMAC club, 1 minute at a time. You spend 1 minute meditating to start your day, one literal minute connecting with somebody, that kind of thing. By the way, Chemda, March 8th, I'm starting to mat. That's 2 minutes at a time. The gratitude, you got your gratitude list done, just start touching yourself. The connect minute, make a literal phone call. We're only on the phone for 2 minutes anyway. So I'm very excited about the future of Keith and the Girl, and everybody else should be as well. Last night,
wish you luck.
Yes, thank you. Last night, can you set it up for me, by the way? There's a lot of ones and zeros. I was listening to the podcast last night that Courtney and Casey started. It's called I Love You, But Your Music Sucks. I left a couple messages and they're like, oh, please listen with me every week. And I think like an hour later, they regretted that because, man, did I have opinions on Rihanna and versus the Eagles.
This is so funny. If Keith has your personal phone number and he consumes your content, you have him in your life for that hour of content,
Yes.
a half an hour. Then when he has thoughts in the shower, he'll come out, text you again, and don't worry, connect your co-hosts. They're all getting audio messages, thoughts that like are in the middle of thoughts because you got to remember what content you put out. It's fantastic. Right. It's like the most beautiful, wonderful review that's like, you think it's regrettable, but then you're like, I think this is what I wanted. So it's an odd feeling.
That's getting to know me. I'll rate even before I hear the podcast. I'm like, first of all, Love on the Brain is better than Hotel California alone. Okay, let's see how you guys do and play.
Interesting. Was that your opinion that you wrote them about?
Yes. I assumed I'd like Casey's music better. Somehow we're supposed to pit, let's say, Led Zeppelin against Britney Spears or NSYNC, and it's like, man, you're not gonna have a chance. But episode 2. I don't know. I think I have more fun with Rihanna. I do love that song, Love on the Brain. I love songs that curse. What'd she say? It beats me black and blue, but it fucks me so good and I can't get enough. What do I got to do to get in your motherfucking heart? And I'm like, that's a love song.
You know what? I never heard it said that way, but I kind of like it. I like the music that has curses. I never thought that I would, yeah. Like I remember Mary J. In the soundtrack "Waiting to Exhale." I should have left your ass 1,000 times.
I love that part.
Yeah. How about the other one? Boomerang. Love should have brought you home last night. I guess that's not curses, but it's just regular sentences, and it's like, yeah.
Right.
Okay. Old movie section over. Thank you.
Candlebox.
I was thinking,
the band
bitch better have my money.
Right.
So.
That's great.
Yes.
The band Candlebox, they throw in cursing all the time, and I love it. It's your motherfucking bed, so sleep in it. And I'm like, did you have to force that? Because it was great.
Who's Candlebox?
Well, you're not 50, so don't worry about it. But anyway, I just saw the movie.
I could know it.
There's got to be that sweet. Thank you. I won't put it on you, but thank you.
I'm gonna look it up after this.
I could know it. Don't look it up. You're gonna think even worse about Keith.
Well, it's weird watching TV shows and there's not enough cursing in it. I just saw the movie The Marvels. People are dying, and not one of the women are like, "Oh fuck, running away from lasers." Everybody's a little too calm, and I don't buy.
I would absolutely. That's exactly what I would scream. My mom has said that "fuck" is my favorite word, apparently, and that if I was running away from something where my death was imminent, yes, I would say "fuck, fuck, fuck, fuck."
Honestly, you should start writing songs. You have at least one fan already.
Right. If I ran into Darth Vader, I'd be like, "Oh shit on my face."
Ugh.
You know, everybody's calm, like, we got trouble now. Like, no,
Yeah.
he got bigger than
We
trouble
thought
now.
he was dead and he's back.
Right. Right. They said is this offensive that Casey and Courtney said, oh, we got to have you on whenever we start our Patreon? Is that offensive, or is it because I do curse a lot and I come with too much power? It's got to be behind the scenes, or I'm so great, I'll bring in money for them. I'm not sure how to take it, but obviously less people are listening. How do I feel?
Well, Kenice, please, Ellie.
I always take things personally and am offended, and I have to work through that. So I would, like you, be like, oh, so I can't be on main feed? Like, what's that about? But you're right. It could. I bring in money, so you'd want to put that behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they said we're going to put you behind the paywall. They said, let us set up this business so that when you come in, it could be lucrative. Because what they said earlier in a text when I was joined, they were like, can you please keep mentioning us because we're getting all our listeners from you. So they would want to set up their financial situation before you drive more listeners to them.
Oh, I think
that's
you're dead wrong, but
it,
I'll take it that way. Well, you read the books, and meanwhile, she's more depressed than me. You know what I mean? So isn't it funny?
I mean, you decided that, but yeah.
Okay. Just going off 19 years. What do I know? Which leads us to this. Kenice is has a special stand-up show right now called Don't Kill Yourself Yet.
Yes. It's a solo show, but yeah.
And what's solo show mean as opposed to stand-up? You don't have to be funny all the time?
I am talking about weightier stuff that it's probably a little bit more realistic to me. When I'm doing stand-up, I find myself slipping into, it's not a character, but it is like a kind of hyperactive, manic person who's yelling at the audience. Whereas this, I'm a little bit calmer and I'm talking about stuff that's honestly pretty meaningful to me. So it's about suicidal ideation. It's about severe depression. I had a stroke. It's about that. So it's about a lot of stuff.
What's the first phrase you said about suicide?
Suicidal ideation.
What is that? Loving the idea, or what is that?
Suicidal ideation is when you're thinking of going through, like when you're thinking not just like, ooh, maybe I want to kill myself, but like, okay, I've got to get a gun, or I've got to like, these are the pills I would take, and like thinking it through in that way. Yeah.
I thought about that in high school, but I never got to the point of actually planning something, and it was over a report card I'd have to show my parents.
A report card?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you have these thoughts as an adult? Is that what makes you want to talk about it?
I don't now, but I have.
What's the situation? Do you mind me asking? What's something that makes you go, let's end it?
So it's honestly like, it'll be a series of things and me interpreting them in the worst way, kind of like the you behind the Patreon thing. But if you continue to assume the worst and see everything as negative, it will honestly be like one thing where just another, like I remember the last time it was like a massage went really, really poorly, but it was on my birthday and it was like on top of like my friends not being around and like professional things not going the way I wanted to. And so that bad massage was indicative of like an entire life that was not working out the way that I wanted it to. And then it went to the suicidal ideation.
It comes in threes, right? Ironically, like comedy. If I get a bad massage that I ended up tipping too much for, and I missed the subway, and then I stub my toe, I'm like, is the pharmacy open?
Yeah. I love that you would go pharmacy and like overdose pharmaceuticals that you just got that day. Not like I have pills around my house. Like if I'm happy, I'm not in a place where I want to do it. But if I did want to do it, I have the materials to do it.
It's nice to know the options there, right?
Yes. Yes.
Have you had suicide in your life? Has somebody else that killed themselves that you had to deal with?
The first suicide that I think I was aware of was when I was in high school. In fact, a kid that my sister dated in 8th grade killed himself. And so we heard about that. And then a friend OD'd, but some people were saying that it was a suicide because of the situation that was going on. Right. So that was pretty memorable. It hasn't thankfully been like, I feel like some people can just rattle off boom, 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 the suicides. So it thankfully hasn't been that bad, but it is enough for me to be like, it is an option that people sometimes take.
Were you close to these people in that you blame yourself, or could I have made a phone call?
Not for the high school boyfriend at all. And honestly, by the time my friend OD'd, we used to be super close. And then he yelled at me at a party about being dumb for wanting to work at SNL. And we he called me a sellout. And I was like, but aren't you trying to work at a TV show as well?
Right.
So yeah, he called me a sellout, and then we got into a big fight, and then we weren't as close. But then he died, and then it was like coming to terms with like, I do care, or there's a version of this person that I really cared about. And it really stinks that they're not around anymore.
Right. I got a letter from who's this from? Anthony, and said, I give I give a bunch of shit about this email. I like to know that people care. You are right now about talking about lives changing in the past 4 months. Okay. Remember we brought this up the other day? My life has changed the last 4 months drastically. 4 months ago today, I spent 4 days in a row attempting suicide, 4 consecutive attempts. My final attempt.
Consecutive attempts.
Yeah. I was listening to you guys, and something Hemda said made me laugh out loud. This just as the police turned up to where I was trying to end it all. He'll explain later a little bit. This opened a dialogue with the cops that showed up. And I've been loving every second of every day as it comes and living. And yes, Keith, I shared what I was listening to with the police. That's good. I appreciate that. I'm the one, by the way, who showed the picture of Hemda-inspired tattoo live on the air, a big question mark on my lower arm. Yeah, come on. You can't be killing yourself. You got a Keith and the Girl tattoo of some kind. You've brought memories to so many, Hemda. The show is unlikely to be the same without you, but time will tell how much I like Keith. Thank you all for the years of entertainment, Hemda. And I said, that's awesome to hear. And if it's not hard to relive, no pun, what were the attempts? And 3 overdoses of pills. The final one was trying to jump off a cliff. And I said, what pills? And the cliff, it's those fucking guardrails, isn't it? God damn it. When you're, by the way, and there's a little more, but Kenice, whenever and I don't have suicidal thoughts, but if I'm high up on, let's say, a cliff, or, some kind of construction, like a mall that has 5 floors. I'm like, they don't have a guardrail here. Do you ever think like, man, look what I can just do right now? I do get there. That ever happen?
Yes. It's a certain, it's like, I think a lot of people who have, it's a fear of heights, but really it's a fear of jumping, which is a lot of what people have. But it is that like, oh, I'm right here. I got to see I could just jump right now. I could just jump right now. Like, I think a lot of people have that.
That ever happened to you, Hemda, or that sound crazy?
I think it's similar to when I see a cop on the train, I want to take his gun.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know that like because there's water, I want to commit suicide. And I don't know that because there's a gun, I want to fire it. I just want to, I would love to be able to rewind time 30 seconds and do stupid shit just to see like, and with no consequences. So no, it's not that I want the consequences at that point. It's that I want the silliness and absurdity.
Yeah. Okay. I like, hey, cops, hey, architects, do not lead me into temptation. It's a sin itself.
Wait.
Yes.
Is it just on the train?
Well,
like,
on the train,
not cops just around, but on the train specifically.
On the train specifically, I think it because if I'm sitting, you're at crotch level a lot, so you're at like cop belt level, and if they have their gun unsnapped, I'm like, dude, architect right now, and I just want to see if I could.
Right.
Fair.
He mentioned the pills, both to stop the heart and have a heart attack. Why would you? Don't go out that way. First one, I was laying in bed and felt my body get very heavy. Didn't think I'd wake up, but I did. The cliff, I wanted to destroy my body throughout my suicidal ideation. I didn't even catch the word that time. I've also dreamt of completely destroying my body, going splat into a hard concrete would fill me with joy. Still does. Nothing more peaceful than having your headphones in, believing you're about to end it all.
Believe it or not, there is something more peaceful. You're in a place where you need help seeing that.
And how personal, and you know what, even if you don't, they say you got to do this shit for yourself. I say do it for me. And don't let the cops find out you were listening to Keith and the Girl when you killed yourself. That's what I need in the fucking paper, Anthony. Jesus, come on. I'll tell you like somebody I hate and you put them on or something. But
Wow.
come on, what the fuck are you doing? Anyway, I'm glad that's fun to hear. Yeah, 4 months is a long time.
Heath is always hoping that, people think a little bit and their impulsive moves. Like, yes, be impulsive. Do you all day. But like, first go, would Keith want to hear about this?
Right. Does your mom see your comedy? And is she gonna see this show? Does that break her heart?
She knows that I've had issues with depression for a long time. And my
parents know my issues, but they tell me not to tell a fucking soul.
I think my mom is okay with it because maybe it makes her think that I'm less likely to do it. I'm not really sure. But after my stroke, I had really not crazy, shouldn't say crazy. After my stroke, I had really wild back and forth emotionally. And she saw all of it because she was there with me as I was recovering. And she has seen some really bad days from me. So I think nothing would be a surprise to her in this show. And she expects me to say embarrassing things about myself on stage all the time. So yeah.
Okay.
What's
not that suicidal
response?
Is embarrassing.
What's her response to your talking about? Do you make her feel uncomfortable with any of the subjects? What's her response to the discomfort?
So oftentimes I have an extended joke about her tits, or I talk about cum on stage constantly. So this is like, she's used to me being dirty on stage and sometimes her being mentioned as a part of that.
Kenice, definitely. Like I've heard her album that you can hear that's out now. Follow-up question. Congrats. And one of them is like, do you do it like me where you take out your good tit first and then the other one just quickly follows?
Yeah. Just as like you always sell the good one and then the other one is like, and you get this other one. It's not as good, but it's like, come on.
I just like that you have quote an extended bit about your mom's tits. Like, honestly, it started and I'm like, okay, extended bit. Your mom's tits. It landed on tits. So.
But she loves it because it's me saying that my mom has really good tits and how it's like hard to like, as a child of someone with good tits, you're younger than them. Why aren't your tits as good as this person's tits? So
no pun. You want to measure up. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So she's like, you shouldn't say that, but also, yes, tell everyone I've got great tits.
Right. Yeah. You want to talk about my vagina? I'm dating again.
So yeah, it's funny how she's gotten used to that, but me talking about suicide, she's getting used to it.
Okay.
Right. You mentioned in the album, by the way, that your dad left. You like to use the word abandoned when you were 6 years old, right? Have you talked to him since at all? Have you tried, or are you like
he abandoned the idea?
Claire, did you abandon the idea, or do you give a shit?
We talked once when I was 16, and I asked why you didn't call me. Like, why you made no attempt to contact me in the last 10 years. And he said, well, you could have called me. And then I hung up.
Okay. I
was like, at 6 years old, I should have been the one. Okay. We're not having a serious conversation here. Yeah, that's not a real thing that you're saying. So
Potter, it's a two-way street. Anyway, I'm moving again. Bye.
Yeah. And I was like, I haven't talked to him since hanging up that time. So
wow, kudos to you. I don't know that I would have my curiosity sometimes does better than me. And you're right. There's no curiosity here. You know exactly what that answer meant and you hung up. You're not waiting for stupid more answers. God, I love that.
If that's a dumb of an answer you're going to give to somebody that they should have been searching for you at 6 and that's their responsibility and not your responsibility as an adult, then no, you probably aren't going to give me the validation where secretly I'm a princess who is worthy because suddenly you see me, my father. And it's like, no.
I loved you too much.
Yeah, no, shut up. No, you're wrong.
Yeah, that's kind of me on the show when you can tell you're not getting an answer from somebody. They give you half bullshit, and I'm like, okay, sounds good. All right, click. Yeah, good for you. Does it affect relationships with men specifically?
Probably.
Or do you not know? Yeah.
I'm going to say probably. I mean, I never date people for longer than 3 months. Okay. I'm in my late 30s, and I haven't had a relationship the longest relationship I had was in high school, and that was 2.5 years. And since then, I've been like, I don't know about this. Very quickly, this isn't the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. So what are we doing here? You know what? I'm going to release you to go find the thing that's right for you, but this ain't it.
Do we still use the term bisexual, or is it pansexual now? Because bisexual sounds like you're an asshole. Like, well, not everybody. Like you have to say pan now, right?
Yeah. You can say there are people who are bisexual. I think that's legal. I think that's allowed.
All right.
I am not at all. I've tried. I've been with a woman and I was like, oh, I feel absolutely nothing here. And when I see a nice lady, I'm like, that's nice. And
what made you try that time?
Alcohol.
Okay.
I'd say alcohol, and she was a lesbian, or she still is a lesbian. Jesus. She's a lesbian, and I was like, oh my gosh. She was like, you could tell she was like nervous to come out to like her friend group. And I was like, oh wow, that's great. And like, probably in my drunken state trying to be too supportive. And yeah, that's not useful. That's not useful to her.
What an ally.
I try to be an ally. But man, I imagine now that she's married now, I imagine one of her worst sexual experiences was with this straight girl who was just effusively, you're accepted, you are loved. You're like,
but that's like, what if you slept with a guy that all you are is just very proud of him? You know, that might not go well either.
No.
You know, like that, you might not have chemistry just because you're like, good for you. I'm on your side with that. Yeah. Right.
Wow. I'm so happy you figured that out. I hope your family supports you. Great.
But you tried, right? You mentioned you Googled how to go down on a woman.
Yes,
is that true?
I did. I had a BlackBerry and I was down there and I had seen something about doing like the ABCs with your tongue. And I was like, that doesn't feel right. And then so like I'm down there and I'm like looking at my phone. Again, I'm very drunk at the time. I don't
down and looking at the phone?
Yes.
Are you trying to pretend you're not looking at a phone for instructions?
I don't think I was pretending that well because she was like, what are you doing?
Like, I am looking up how to do this right now.
Because I want to do it well. I don't like doing a bad job at anything.
With headphones in. And now go to don't forget the...
Yeah. If there was an audio guide, that'd be so funny just to like send that to someone or a guy starting to go down on you and you just put headphones on him. Head. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm like thinking about how could we do this? Is this something that would be profitable to make? Okay.
That's very impressive and commendable, albeit what's the word for it? Misguided, I guess.
Misguided,
and like
very
also
misguided.
Technically misguided.
Yes.
So I don't know
that she just asked me to stop because she's like, what is happening? Are you texting someone? Like, what are you doing?
Holy shit.
Yeah,
that's so
I'm sorry
funny.
to that woman. And we check in from time to time and I think she's doing well, but I always feel a little bit bad. Like, hey, my bad.
Do you feel bad that you're not queer after all? Because that is the cool thing going on today. In fact, that LGBT, it's like more letters in that than the alphabet. There's addition symbols in that. Asexual is in that. So you could be in the fun party and not even have sex. And
all you are is H. Wow.
Yeah.
And I regular schmegular, old school. It's like, honestly, it does feel outdated. And especially since I do only date people for 3 months and I don't feel super strongly about anyone, but I like sex. And when I do like someone, it's like, oh, that's nice. I like liking someone. I just don't do it that long or much.
Do you get bored? Do you think it's their personality or yes?
What is it? You start seeing the repetition of something that you will not be able to stand.
Yes.
From here on, like, okay, you've done this now for 3 months. No.
Mm-hmm.
And is it
long
the
enough
same?
To see some patterns? Yeah.
Is it the same pattern? Are they?
Nope.
No.
They're drastically different.
They're good.
I'm making different mistakes each time. So the last time it was a guy who looked at his phone chronically, and also he couldn't joke with my friends and certain things, but like things were starting to go poorly, and it's like, I'm gonna make breakfast. I'm going to take you to my favorite place. I'm going to do all these things because I'd really like to try to make this work. And the way that he just like looked at his phone wouldn't get out of bed to eat the breakfast, looked at his phone all the way through breakfast. He worked away for half of the week, and I would go over. He lived in New Jersey, which is like, I live in Brooklyn. To me, that's like a long distance relationship. I'm going all the way to New Jersey to see you, like
That's
over
two
and over and over
bridges.
again. It is. And he would just, I'd go over. It's like, it took me an hour and a half, 2 hours to get here, because half the time the train in Jersey City doesn't work on the weekends. And I get here and you're just looking at your phone. You could look at your, like, fuck your phone. I don't know what you want me to do here. So
I don't
You're
know.
not paying
I don't-
attention. And I went over 2 bridges. Do you know all those suicide spots? And now you can't even talk to me.
Yeah. So no dice.
And honestly, I don't know what's so exciting about your phone, you guys. When you sit across from me at some food thing and you're on your phone, I really don't know. You have to get back to the text. Like, I don't know
that
what
you're not doing
text.
that.
Are
You're
you
looking
a
at some shit on social.
Are you a surgeon? Do you deliver
not.
babies? Are you on call anywhere? I don't know who you have to respond to or what video you need to see at the second.
And they don't include you. I don't mind if we're at dinner and you're on your phone.
Sure.
Include me.
Yes. Are you looking up the next spot to go to dessert? Sure. That's maybe appropriate.
Yeah, and that's a brief thing. That's like a quick thing. But it'd be like, truly, I'm introducing you to my friends, and you know that I don't do that. That's not a thing that I do. So
why did you introduce him to your friends?
Because it seemed like it was going well. And then this was one of the first things where we're sitting at coffee with my good friend that, again, I don't introduce everybody to, but we happen to be near his place because we were at the park. And
by the way, she's not psychotic. That's the name of a place, just so you know. We went to coffee. It's the name of a place, and we went to pizza.
We went to dinner. To me, like dinner and coffee, like boom, boom. We went to coffee. Anyway, we met up at a place. And he pulls out his phone very quickly and just starts, like, me and my friend, like, my friend is trying to engage with him to get to know him. And he pulls out his phone and starts looking at his phone. He's like, yeah, what? And it's like,
no, that's purposeful. That's on purpose. There is no.
Am I your enemy? Why are you acting like this?
No. Are you 6? No. Who as an adult doesn't know that this is, it will take you 10% of your personality to impress here, because all your friends want to do is like him. So here's your chance. It's like meeting someone's parents. All you have to go is like, oh my God, no wonder Kenice is so great. This is amazing to me. That's it. Done. Don't talk the rest of the time. Kenice is so great. Of course she has friends like yours. Kenice is so great. No wonder this is her mother. You're fantastic. This food is great. That's it. Nobody wants to hear anything. That's the first. Good for you.
Exactly. So
you mentioned in your album, you're like, I hope my therapist makes a mistake. You know, fucks me, you know.
Fucks me, yes. That's because I had a really hot therapist, guys. He was super hot.
That's rough. Why?
Like,
how do you met? Like, you actually found them attractive?
I found him very attractive. I describe him on my album. He is 6'4". He looks like a young Tony Danza, only tall, and he's like very physically built. And he would like sit with his legs spread, like, you know, on a couch, like, not a couch, like a chair, like a nice chair, and he just sits like kind of leaning back, and his legs are spread, and you're like, what the fuck?
Are you seeing somebody? Jesus.
He's like presenting his dick to me, and it's just like, how am I supposed to concentrate? How am I supposed to answer into questions? He like would stroke his chest sometimes, like, yeah, that really sucks. And it's like, what are you doing right now?
He's squeezing his pecs. Give me a lot to think about.
Why would you do that?
Sorry, sore from the gym. Sorry. Just massaging himself.
Yeah, what?
How long were you with this person?
At least 6 months. But after a while, it was like, yeah, I'm paying money. I'm not discussing my issues. We're not getting into anything that's serious.
I'm sexually frustrated.
Yeah. I'm truly just trying to impress you. I've talked more about like movies that are out than like my like inherited trauma. What are you talking about? Like,
you're like on the first date every time. You're like,
every single time.
Cross a boundary, asshole.
Yeah.
She goes, I want this pussy to ruin his practice. Let's see what happens. When there's COVID and you switch to Zoom calls, have you ever touched yourself during a therapy session?
No.
Okay,
and
very good.
I have a joke about how like he wanted to see each other during COVID. I did stop seeing him right before COVID because I was like, this is not working. Oh yeah, it was so bad. Like I knew his kids. Like I knew what his kids were up. We talked about them and like,
Why?
oh yeah,
Oh, I know why.
Why? Yeah.
Of
why?
course.
Why am I talking about your kids? Why am I doing that? That seems odd.
Why is he allowing that?
Did they teach you in school that this is odd?
I have a degree in psychology. Yes.
She gives notes where you failed and why I have to leave you.
Sorry, what are you talking about? It was
if I find out anything about my therapist, I'm just like, I have no follow-up questions. Even though I would love to go to coffee with this woman. I love her. Like I'm like, we could be friends, but we're not going to be.
We're not, because I'm paying you for a service and you're helping me be better.
I would love to know what's up and where you shop and how, what do you like at Starbucks? All that. Nope. This is about me. I have temptation. Like I even try not to ask, how are you, when she goes, how are you? Ooh. Not even like, I'm good, how are you? And if I do that, it's a slip because I'm so used to being like, good, how are you?
Yeah.
So I go, good.
Yeah,
your first question.
Kenda goes, good, how are you? But in a New York way. We don't care. I'm paying. We talked on
my therapist quickly defers. Sorry.
Right. I was going to say on Keith and the Girl, we talked about, I don't even know how it first came up, but when we got the sex talk. And my mom says she did it, but she obviously did it when we were fucking infants so that she didn't have to deal with anything, because that's something I'd remember. My dad, when I went to prom, said, remember, son, keep your pecker in your pants. That was his advice with that. You got
but
one
it doesn't come out. Right. You're not giving me any strategies that are useful here.
Right. Well, if you keep it in your pants, what's there to talk about? You got your lesson at what, 6 years old?
6, yes.
And what it was your mom, I assume, right?
It was my mom. Mm-hmm.
It was your dad on the way out.
Yeah. There's a thing called fucking kids. Good luck. Slam.
Be careful if you leave it in. Anyways.
Yeah.
After your dad left, your mom was like, let me tell you where I went wrong. Sex is.
No, we found a tampon in my sister's bag. And my older sister, she's 8 years older than us. She had a tampon in her little purse, and my twin sister found it, and she's like, what is this? And then my older sister said, it's a pencil. And we were like, this is not a pencil. They're lying to us. There's something going on here. And so we like confronted my mom, like, what's going on? And then my mom was like, now's as good a time as any. Okay, sit down.
What? You went straight from periods? I love it. The 6-year-olds are plotting, right? About a 14-year-old tampon. It's like,
there's something going on. This is not right. We're going to tell mom. I don't know the word confront, but that's what we're going to do. Like,
yes.
Mom, what's this? It's not a crayon eye.
Michelle lied about it.
Why does this crayon only come in red, Mom?
Periods are so uncomfortable to talk about. Your mom rather talk about making babies.
Yeah. She's like, if we have to talk about all of it, we're going to talk about all of it. Here's the whole thing. Here's all the information. And
what did you think at 6? Because at 10, I was horrified.
At 6, I was like, someone wouldn't do that to someone else. That seems mean. Why would someone do that to someone?
Yes, at 10, I was like, wow, mom really wanted kids. She took it 3 times. Wow. Like, I was impressed. I was like, this is what you do, and you did that 3 times. Oh.
And my dad didn't Google anything. So poor mom. What was that? What is the advice? What did she give you something that stuck at that young age, or?
You have a vagina. There's a thing called a period. This whole thing is for making babies. What happens is a man puts his penis. Men have penises, by the way. He puts his penis inside the vagina, and then there's a baby.
And did you think, this is from the album, but did you really think that sometimes the penis is left inside you and that becomes the baby?
Well, yes, because she said he puts his penis inside you and then you get pregnant. And so I'm like, okay, so he takes his penis and puts it inside you, and then there's a baby. So the penis is part of it, essentially, if it's it gets put inside you and then out comes a baby, then it's
You
That
gotta
think
makes so
like
much sense. And then
sex-
when you pass certain stores, like in New York, you pass like stores that have, fun outfits and dildos and whatever. So you think like, oh, those are baby makers. All the dildos.
They're part of it. It makes it easier to like give up your penis. You just buy one of these penises and then use that to make a baby. I don't know.
somebody tries to have sex with you and you're like, are you in love? Because it's like a bee. You can only do it once.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
I'm in high school. I don't think I'm ready for babies. All right. At 9 years old, you asked about vagina lips, and your mom said those are dried up balls.
No, my mom didn't say they were dried up balls. My mom
Okay.
asked me what I thought they were
Okay.
because we had family living, ethical behavior, human sexuality. We called it Fleabish. And that was our sex ed. And we had some sort of Fleabish
Who's
every
we?
year from Charlotte Mecklenburg school system.
Okay.
Sorry. And we had some sort of training every year from like 4th grade to 8th grade. I think we had some kind of, and sometimes it was just like a short thing, but sometimes it was like a big chunk of a semester once we got to middle school and stuff.
Did you learn things?
Yeah, like they had pictures of a vagina, but the way they draw a vagina is it's just like a straight line. And like, or it might have like a little bit of like there's a hole at the bottom, like, and so you're like, oh gosh, I'm not just like a Barbie with like an indent. Like, this must mean something's wrong with me because it like has dimensionality to it. So I was very concerned, and I was like, my mom's already talking to me about sex. My mom's very open with me. I got to show her and get her opinion because this could be a medical issue.
Yeah,
Right.
even in health class, which they do it too young. I can use a class right now, as a matter of fact. But so you're just bored. But they could show you all the different kinds of vaginas. I didn't know until I saw one in person. You bring up the point. Some they look like a lady just rested on a credit card, and then you got others that you're like, what the fuck am I looking at? A butterfly inside a butterfly? Yeah, show me a bunch. Show me a bunch of different ones.
One of my earphones has died, but the other one is great. Can you guys still hear me?
We'll go in with that one. Yes, you sound good.
Great.
Yeah, your album's good. You're great in general.
Thank you.
I have a couple more notes that I want to ask you here. Let's see. You dated during the pandemic, right?
I did.
Is it extra sexy? Because it's like so wrong.
No, I wish. I went on dates. I went on park dates. I went on outdoor dining dates when it was like truly, I think before the vaccine came out, and it was like 40 degrees outside, but you're sitting in an outdoor restaurant under a heating lamp, like shivering, like we got to make something work. Like maybe someone will love me, but it wasn't.
You get COVID or because you didn't find love, but
no, I didn't find love. I did get COVID 2 years later from a comedy show.
How do you pinpoint that? That was the only time you were around people that week? Because
no, I had been like a little bit out, but it was 50 first jokes, and so it was 50 comedians.
Did everyone get it?
A lot of people got it after this. Yeah.
50 comics on stage waiting for their turn to talk.
25 at a time. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that'll do it.
And we're all backstage, and we're like the audience was jam packed, and so that
the science kept changing. Who knows? Who knows? That's a bummer. You dated a guy and then found out later he had a family. Is that a true story?
Oh, so I found out later that he was married. Yes. Okay. That is a true story. We had gone on truly, it is still, unfortunately, like my mental picture of a perfect date. And like he wrote me online that day, and he was like, hey, I know this is weird, but I have tickets to the ballet and my date dropped last minute. Any chance you'd want to go with me?
And did you know this person, or was he a fan?
It was we had matched and we had chatted a bit before. And he was like, oh, hey, do you like, this is a weird question, but we've been chatting. Any chance you'd want to go to the ballet? So we went to the ballet, and then we went to one of my favorite.
What'd you wear to the ballet? If I may, Keith, sorry. You'll have your show in 4 months. Yes.
I had a dress on, probably. Like I like right now you're seeing me casual because I'm in my home, but if I'm going out, I usually wear like a dress, probably boots, dress boots.
You have one dress?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. Just wondering, like, was it a zhuzhed up night?
No, this might be a thing that is wrong with my dating, which is what some of my male friends would say. I wear what I wear, which is someone said librarian or businesswoman.
That's hot as fuck. Please. Those are porn names, what you're saying. Please.
Well,
I
they're
get
like
none,
your
I
tits aren't
get-
out. So you
No.
must not want dick because no one knows what your tits look like. Like no one can tell if you have a shape. Your clothes aren't like giving us enough information.
Bitch, please.
About
Not you. I'm the person who's saying it. Looking at someone. And also, I guess you'll find out later. I got to tell everyone that I want some so that you know.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you
I'm not trying to broadcast to everyone. I'm trying to broadcast to specific people.
please?
Kenice brought this point up. If say you were seeing somebody and then the guy's aloof and he's not talking to you anymore, she learned a trick. She was about to change in her phone, so she's going through her pictures, like what pictures do I want to save, and saw some old dick pics, and does the funniest thing. Sent the dick pics back to the people who sent them in the first place. And she goes, you want the guy to talk to you again? The responses are urgent.
They are. This was when I was living in Boston. This was a bored day at work, and it was about a year after I went through a real hoe phase. So a real phase where I'm like texting back and forth with a lot of people, lots of sexting, da 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 da.
Right.
And then I eased up on the hoe phase, but I was at work and I was so bored that I was like, I just have all these. That's crazy that I just have these people's dicks. That's insane that you just walk around with these dicks all the time. Like, what should I be doing with it? Like, what should they don't know. I could have been starting like a collection or like making an art book or something. They have no idea what I'm doing. I'm sending them back. I'm sending them back and seeing how they respond. And then I did.
Do you say anything?
Nope.
Or it's just that now they're just
completely
getting
without context. Your own penis.
What are the responses?
Sometimes they don't even know it's theirs, right?
I mean, I hope they know it's theirs. Yeah.
Well, if they don't know it's theirs, it's not theirs.
Yeah.
It was
that means they sent
represented
me somebody
falsely.
else's dick, which is fucked up. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so how did the opera go? Sorry, different person, right?
Oh, yeah. He did not send me a dick pic. This perfect date guy. The opera was great. I ran into one of my grad school professors and she seemed impressed because that guy is a writer and she had heard of him through other things. So she was like, oh, you're dressed nice. You're at the opera with this guy. You must have been doing well. And I was like, you were truly my worst professor and I do wish you ill. So then we went to this bookstore / restaurant that I love in Boston. I think it's Trident Booksellers, and we got like one of my favorite meals. I love fried catfish. So we got that, and they sell catfish. We got tables right at the bar, and on the TV, one of my favorite movies last year at Marienbad. It's a French movie from 1961. It's in black and white, and it takes place half in the mind of some of the characters. So it's like super pretentious, but it's not one that I see out and about ever. So to look up and see one of my favorite movies.
So he ruined all of these things: the ballet, your favorite meal, your favorite movie.
Then we walked across the bridge.
Walking across bridges.
So romantic. Like imagine the river, the lights of the river. Then he's like, let's keep this going. We took a cab to this dive bar. It's called Sligo. Truly, it's a lot of old Irish people and us and cheap drinks. And we made out in an alley. And it was like, I was like, this is it. I think I'm done.
That sounds so perfect because it's zhuzhed up. It's in an alleyway. It's got all the hits. Yeah.
Well, his wife gave him some sexy ideas,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So
how'd you find out?
Yeah.
I think 2 days later I was on set, bored. I'm bored at work a lot. I'm hearing that pattern. On set, bored. We were in a van waiting for something to get done because we had to move this to that. Whatever. My friend's like, and you haven't Googled him? And I was like, no. And she's like, Kenice,
how many dates in? How many dates in?
Truly one date. Okay. This is after the perfect date.
Sorry, and you haven't what him? What your friend is? Googled him. Okay.
Yes. And so I Google him, and there's like all this stuff about his wedding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was it pretty? Was it a nice looking wedding?
But sometimes divorce happens fast.
sometimes divorce happens fast, but his wedding wasn't that long ago. And he was like, oh, we're Jewish divorced, but not actually divorced. Complicated. And then we got into a big fight.
Because nothing's really complicated. Yeah.
Maybe you could have mentioned that when when we were making out and handsy. Just a brief mention. I do like it when dudes mention that though. Like, hey, I'm in the middle of a separation. I'm like, good to know. I can make an informed decision. Great. Right.
What is Jewish divorced?
That's when you fuck with the holes in the sheets, right? So they're still fucking. Yeah. Just something's different. I've read about
Jewish
that.
divorce means only your rabbi knows.
Yeah. So, but we are still like online friends and sometimes reach out and stuff. But I was like, I probably shouldn't jump ahead into the future with this person based on what's going on with him.
Is he still married?
Yes.
And is he still Jewish married or?
I think he may be Jewish married to a different person now, and they have a child. And he told me about the child, and I was like, "Congrats!" I'm not sure what you say when your ex lover has a child. We ended up sleeping around. Yeah.
Does Jewish married mean cheating?
I don't know.
Wait, did you say you slept with him?
We did.
I mean, the ballet. Come on, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Do you know I've never been to the ballet and not fucked? True story. So yes, of course you gotta. What are you gonna do?
The ballet. The ballet.
Do you ever feel like when you saw ballet, and I've really only seen it once, I felt like
that is telling based on what you just said. Okay.
Right. I felt like an asshole. I felt like I was one of the rich snobs in The Purge. And you have to dance on your fucking toes. You're breaking your foot for me. And maybe during what we think might be a break, I go, It's really, and by the way, one bow isn't enough. I want you all bowing 1, 2 at a time for half a fucking hour to me as if to say you're welcome. It's very, very snobbish to me, and I felt uncomfortable.
Really?
Wow, that's so interesting. First of all, it is snobbish. I mean, come on. We all know. But it's so funny that I sit there going like, look at them living their dream. They have about 5 more years if they're lucky.
Yes.
Their feet are, I mean, this is so worth them doing that their feet are broken right now and they're still on it. Wow.
Oh, you ever see, like,
fuck this, I'm a bougie asshole.
I've seen those pictures online. You look at any of the greats, Baryshnikov, whoever comes to mind, and their feet are
fucked. Yeah.
It's horrifying. Yeah.
But I'm on your side. I'm like, look, I took dance when I was a kid. I was bad at it. And look at these people being good at it. Look at them.
They're flying.
Yeah.
Wow.
But this is something that so few people can do. To me, this is like playing basketball very well.
Yes, except I think like he's thinking about it like how he talks about football, which he watches on a regular basis, but he knows people are getting concussed and they're getting their brain damaged and it is inevitable. And he should at least feel like the piece of shit that he is watching it. And here we're at a ballet where like kind of similar things are happening. You're destroying your body for this art, for this work, for your passion. And I'm sitting here going,
yes.
We are so sophisticated. At least at football, somebody punches each other. People are drinking beer. They're being they're being football-y. Here,
there's
ballet.
Something about the cucumber sandwich while I'm watching ballet. That did please me. That'd be weird if concussion happens on the field and I'm taking the crust off of bread. It's strange
if it's
to me.
snobby, you should never be the one to take the crust off the bread. It should come pre-crusted.
It did. $52. Yeah. It did.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Where are they not cutting the crust off, or you have to do it?
But football is a lot like ballet. It's really just how you present yourself, I guess, as an audience member. Everybody's grabbing ass in both of these things. I saw the documentary.
Make
Black
a lot more
Swan,
money, and people bet a lot more on a football.
Right.
I would like to see like what the betting would be on like the American Ballet Company. Just like, oh, I'm betting on this 13-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah. She loses a toe before she's 21 and still gets on point. Yeah. It is abuse. If you look at their feet only, holy fuck.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
At the end, they should show you that if you want to stay till after the credits.
During the like standing ovation,
Right.
it's just her unwrapping her gross feet. And
Look what I did for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear Keith and Chemda, says Damien and Sparky. This last week, I caught up on shows as I'm very busy. Work life gets in the way of listening 12 to 16 days for weeks at a time, and was very taken aback by this Kickstarter news, keithandthegirl.com/kick. I am so tired right now that I haven't really processed what this means, but I absolutely have to take a moment to express my deepest appreciation for the most unique experience in the Keith and the Girl multiverse, all because of Chemda. How many people can say they were married by the girl of Keith and the Girl? On October 9th, 2015, my now husband and then partner Damien and I were super excited to see you both on your first tour stop in Seattle. That was a great place, Seattle, during the Keith and the Girl tour. We had already been together for 9 years at that point, and I proposed to him on our first Christmas together. Gay marriage wasn't legal when I proposed. See, everybody's gay. Fuck. Gay marriage wasn't legal when I proposed, and once it was, we knew we would formalize it. We had no real plans for the wedding, rather spend money on fun things, and instead thought we would just ask an ordained friend to sign the paperwork. Since we were going into the city to see your show anyway, we took the time to stop at the courthouse to get our marriage license along the way. That's why they had it. After the show, we got a chance to chat with Chemda and some dude she was seeing at the time. He wrote all that. And she asked about our relationship, how we met, how long we have been together, etc. I mentioned we just picked up our marriage license, and Chemda asked what the wedding plans were. After saying we had no plans, I admitted that I almost wanted to email you all to see if you would marry us while you were in town, but never got around to it. Chemda immediately said, let's do it right now. You don't fuck around with Chemda. You're thinking about doing stand-up. She is the venue for you next Thursday. Get your shit together. You say you're thinking about getting married. It's now. It's today. Chemda, you jumped into organizing an entire bar into a sidewalk wedding, and it is what I really wanted in a wedding, unique and memorable. Yeah,
it was so fun. It was so fun. We were just outside, and I think I was yelling their vows or some shit. It was so fun.
We have to. We didn't have a mic planned for outside. That moment exemplified what I've always admired about Chemda. She has a relentless fearlessness to embrace the moment and jump into what she knows will bring her the most joy and fulfillment. Not recklessly, but with intent, with purpose, and an eye towards making the most of what is possible. The theme has been repeated numerous times in her life: touring singer, podcaster, comedian, life coach, bicycle rider, and now the ultimate bravery to write a completely new chapter for her by leaving the show. Thank you for the gift of what October 9th was for my husband and I, and the years of wit and wisdom, and giving Keith and everyone in the audience the gift of months with you before you leave. And Keith, you are doing what you were born to do, and I hope you continue the show forever. We thank you for being the signatory on our marriage license so that we can say we were married by Keith and the Girl completely. It is one of the most prized possessions and made special by the both of you. Love, peace, and fortune to you both and everyone that makes Keith and the Girl so great. L'chaim, Damien, and mainly Sparky who wrote this.
Chills, 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 right. Chills, chills. Oh,
that's lovely.
Right? What the fuck is my life?
I'll put the picture on the website, yeah.
Yes. Oh, and I love that dress. I would wear that to the ballet.
Well, you only have one. But keithandthegirl.com/kick. Did you know that you can have the upcoming Keith and the Girl 24-hour marathon named after you? Or maybe you want it named after your company or your spouse's name or something you completely made up. That's just one of the rewards in this year's Kickstarter. When we make our goal, Chemda starts booking over 50 comedians to join us for the 24 hours of live streaming Keith and the Girl. The marathon, assuming the Kickstarter works out, will start on February 3rd. So tell your bosses, make your plans now. And name it whatever you want. Check out the naming rights reward and all other Keith and the Girl Kickstarter rewards at keithandthegirl.com/kick, K-I-C-K. Kenice, I'm very excited about your one-person show. What do I look up? What's the best way for me to play it?
Okay, so you can visit my website. It's KeniceMobley.com for tickets and information. This next show is on December 8th at the Rockwell in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm super excited. Again, the show is called Don't Kill Yourself Yet. It is a look at the desire to end your life and wanting to change. So
I like the
please,
yet part because it's like you're not really telling me what to do, and I appreciate
no. And I'm not saying never do it. I'm just
Right.
saying, wait a second.
Like
Yeah.
that song, Hold On for One More Day.
Yes, exactly. I love that song, by
day.
the way.
I love that song.
Hold on
Great
for
song.
one more fucking day.
Perfect.
Kenice, thank you so much for your time. You're always a blessing. You're an open book in a real way. Some comics say they're an open book. I don't know what book they're reading from, but you're fantastic, and it's a great.
I'm
to see you
entirely
again.
too open. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for hanging in there during the technical difficulties. But you guys are awesome. Thanks again.
Thank
What
you.
a fucking blast. If people can't hang for longer than 3 months, you are right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Stick around for a minute. Kenda's going to close up, though, but you were great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to randomly read without reading ahead. Pippa wrote like a bunch of lines, so let's see.
Okay.
As sad as this is, I am loving all this love and the stories. I feel like every episode when I hear listeners' letters, it is like being at a family reunion, learning family history of distant relatives. That's so interesting. Cool. What a nice perspective. Anna, don't tell them to your dreams unless you're ready to have them come true.
That's right.
Hell yeah.